to one story. There's only one story in town. I keep saying this. Yesterday in the Commons, Kemi Badenoch badgered Starmer. We know all about Mandelson, the accusations that he sent emails to the perverted paedophile Epstein with real government secrets that he could have used either in his network of dodgy friends or even to make money in the markets. That's an ongoing case. The police will decide whether the pant man needs to go to prison. I think so. But yesterday, it was all about your judgment, Keir Starmer, that has been called into question about 15 U-turns a time. But did you know about the depth of the relationship? No. Then this. Have a listen, have a watch.
Can the Prime Minister tell us, did the official security vetting he received mention Mandelson's ongoing relationship with the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein?
So clear. Prime Minister.
Yes, it did.
3 words that even The Guardian, that left-wing rag, believe signal the end. It's over for Starmer, say Labour MPs amid fury over Mandelson. There was a revolt led by Angela Rayner. She stood up and said, you've got to be more transparent. He is definitely on the ropes. We are at talk on resignation watch. Maybe not for him, but it happened to Boris Johnson over a piece of cake. How many cabinet ministers, how many MPs are going to start looking at those email inboxes and go, this man's a bloody liability. If I want my job, we've got to make change. Not a sight of Ed Miliband. He's definitely plotting. Streeting on the right, sorry to say this, they're all very close to Mandelson. Rayner's apparently acquired a £1 million war chest and is on manoeuvres. It's all going on. Our first guest this hour is a man who spent 30 years in the Commons, latterly as the Deputy Speaker, and I can officially reveal is not in the Epstein files. Good morning, Nigel Evans.
Good morning. If only, Jeremy. Yeah, no, never met the man.
Mate, in all of your experience, we've got Anusiata Rees-Mogg in just a sec. Have you ever been involved, watched or had an opinion on a political situation in all of your life? I mean, this reminds me of Profumo. This really does.
Yeah, no, the answer's no. I was in the House of Commons for 32 years, and yesterday, as it was approaching 12 o'clock, I was around about London near Fortnum and Masons, and I went across the road and I tuned in to Prime Minister's questions.
Yeah,
I've never done that before because I knew that day it was going to be quite spectacular, and I didn't realise how spectacular it was. And you've just played the clip where Kemi he absolutely skewered the Prime Minister by asking him that one simple question: did he know? Yes, he did. And that, for me, just said absolutely everything. He couldn't say, no, he didn't, because he did. And there's enough evidence to show now that he did know that he appointed Peter Mandelson as ambassador to the United States of America when he knew the relationship between Mandelson and Epstein was incredibly close, and yet he still insisted on overruling everybody that warned him not to do it. He did it. He took the risk. He took the chance.
And this is my question, Nigel. This is what I don't get. You would know more about this because you've been involved in the, I'm going to say the dark side, but the shenanigans that is the Parliament. I can sit here and say the man's got no moral compass. He's got no brain cells. He doesn't seem to have a plan, right?
Yeah.
But all I can come away from this entire story, and all of my listeners that have been involved this morning, is he must know where the bodies are buried, and he must have, Mandelson, as much muck on people across the Labour Party to have survived dodgy loans, dodgy passports. The man is obviously a liability, but has held the Labour Party in the palm of his hand for so long. And if he goes down, because I think he'll go to prison, I make no secret of saying that. You can say I think he will do. Is he going to squeal? How many will go down with him? Because this is serious stuff, man.
If you think that my book that I'm writing, Jeremy, is interesting, and I know you think it is, because I'm on chapter 25, can you imagine the book that Peter Mandelson could write about the Labour Party? Peter Mandelson has nothing left to worry about now. He's got absolutely nothing. He's been thrown under the bus by Gordon Brown and then latterly by Peter Mandelson. He's got absolutely nothing left. He's going to write that book And can you imagine how interesting that book is going to be? Because it is going to be about his time in Parliament, his time when he was sacked twice, his time when he was brought back by Gordon Brown and made Foreign Secretary. It's going to be an incredible book. He knows where the bodies are buried because he buried most of them. It's going to be a fascinating insight into the book of New Labour.
He's a bit of a sleazeball, though, isn't he? I mean, I can't. The unedifying view of the pants and all that, and taking all that aside, the £8 million house, whilst your husband, who's whatever Ronaldo is getting 12 grand off Epstein for an osteopathy course. 75 grand in 325 grand instalments I didn't know went into my bank account. What I found really interesting yesterday, which you haven't done, which is why I love you, is there were journalists that came on programmes on this station yesterday and journalists in the building who were still trying to defend this piece of whatever. Does he have tentacles that spread so far? Because the man... I mean, do you know what I thought one of the lowest things was on Monday, that we were the only Tuesday I picked up on and I kept playing? Somebody did this once in television, I won't name names. Oh, I didn't know what was going on the island, I'm gay, he says. Well, there's a picture of him in his underpants with a semi-clad woman giving him a massage. I mean, that's absolutely farcical. He is up to his neck in it, and I don't think he's a particularly nice person at all. I think it highlights massive problems.
Yeah, I think listen, he's been cancelled now. There's no two ways about it. Politically, he's had comeback after comeback. There is no comeback after this, and Peter Mandelson knows that completely.
Does he go to jail, Nige?
No, he will go to jail. I'm absolutely certain. Looking at everything that's there, he gave insider information on market-sensitive stuff that only he could know, that would move markets, which could have meant that either Epstein or Epstein would have told other people about what was about to happen as far as the bailout in the Eurozone, which would have made people significant sums of money. I've got absolutely no doubt at all that he's facing jail now. Absolutely. So him losing his titles, it's the least of it. I thought a lot from Keir Starmer. But the reality is, within minutes of him saying that it was going to be the cabinet secretary that was going to decide what information we saw or didn't see, the Labour members of Parliament, and he's got a significant majority in the House of Commons, remember me, significant, it's a massive majority. They turned on him.
Stay there, Nige. Stay there. I want to bring Annunziata Rees-Mogg in, head of comms at Popular Conservatism. Annunziata, I don't think we've ever spoken, have we?
No, we haven't. Good morning. Lovely to speak.
You see, she's clearer. By the way, before anybody says anything, I've just had a text in, and it said, I tuned in to listen to Nigel Evans, and I think he looks like Bill Nighy from Love Actually. He's loving that. Annunziata, I've got your brother on in half an hour. I'll ask you something about him in a minute. But honest to God, so many people getting involved. Nigel's just had his say. How do you at Popular Conservatism look at what's happening? Because this is probably the biggest scandal to hit Britain politically since the Profumo affair, isn't it?
I think Profumo, and actually worse than Profumo. Profumo lied, but there wasn't corruption at the heart of government. And this is really highlighting quite how bad the corruption was. It was telling secrets to foreign powers. It was trying to influence British policy on the banks, the bankers' bonus tax. It was leaking when our Prime Minister was going to quit office. All of these are very, very deeply corrupt and at the very, very heart of our government. I think this investigation needs to go incredibly far because we don't know what other things it might have affected. Has it changed what's happening with the Chagos deal, for example? Mm-hmm. We know his fingerprints are all over that. And what happened with the meeting with Palantir that was off the books when Keir went over to America? We need to know exactly how far this rot goes, but at the moment it's looking very serious. I agree that Mandelson will end up in prison, and if it's not here, it will be in the US. that the material non-public information laws in America are very strong. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can be arrested and charged in America. Now, I think we've got to do it first here, because fundamentally this is a British problem. It has highlighted the complete distrust that this Labour government and its predecessors deserve. No wonder people don't trust politicians. They were right not to.
I couldn't agree more, and I think we would all agree. And I keep, Nigel knows this, and Isiada, we haven't spoken before, but I keep going back to a text I had some weeks ago from a person who said, Jez, I've never really been switched on politically. I guess you'd call me as part of the silent majority, but I've woken up. And there's a word he kept using to me in the text, which was unfairness. And whether you talk about migrants and the whole situation, and he said, the problem for any government is that when the silent majority wake up, it doesn't matter the colour of that government, they're in real trouble. You know what I mean, don't you, Nigel? I think this government has managed in 18 months to do something almost worse than took the Tories 14 years. And people's trust, and Nancy is right, is dissipating by the minute.
Yeah. Yeah, no, by the second. And I wouldn't have been surprised if I'd woken up this morning to have read that Morgan McSweeney had been thrown under the bus. They've absolutely thrown Mandelson under the bus completely. He has now been cancelled by the Labour government. And I think Keir thinks that that's going to save him. But last night we saw something in the House of Commons I've not seen for quite some time. And that was that the Prime Minister went from the dispatch box saying that, oh, no, the Cabinet Secretary is going to decide what papers are going to be seen. And within an hour, the Chief Whip of the Labour Party was in discussions with the Chief Whip of the Conservative Party saying, well, we can amend the amendment that has been put down. A manuscript amendment was put down in the House of Commons, which was an emergency amendment to an amendment that the government had already put down to say that it's now going to be the Spooks Committee, as I call it. They are going to be the ones that decide what papers are now going to be revealed. I don't think Morgan McSweeney can survive, but putting him under the bus isn't going to be enough.
Well, it was interesting because he was asked about Morgan McSweeney, and I thought, like Nigel's just intimated, that he'd just go, what's it? But yet again, showing no political judgment at all. Starmer stood up and said, he helped me get elected, he's central to my team. And you'd have to say they'll probably go down together. And also, just very quickly, the view on the front bench, the realisation, I think, that these untalented people were about to be found out was a very good watch.
Yeah.
Their facial expressions were priceless. The whole of yesterday's debate, actually, I think was brilliant, and it was the House of Commons at its best. The Conservatives did an incredibly good job, a forensic job of making sure that the public can find out what's happened. And I think we need to extend that, because we've got to remember that Mandelson was at the very heart of the Blair government. Blair's government changed our constitutional settlement and undid a lot of our democratic rights. We've got to find out how much this has influenced our agreement with how we're governed, whether it's the Supreme Court, the European Court of Human Justice, kowtowing to foreign laws. We've got to make sure that all of this web, which is despicable, is undone.
Do you believe, very, very basic language, but do you believe that Mandelson will squeal if he goes down? Do you think he'll implicate others?
I think at this point he's got nothing to lose. He must have millions somewhere.
But not enough to pay for his boyfriend, now husband's osteotherapy course. I cannot. That everybody says, why do you keep mentioning? Oh, there's 8 million, which I've got from Epstein or other people, because I like a few quid. But my boyfriend, who's 50, it doesn't matter the age difference, who's now my husband, he can't afford a 12 grand osteotherapy course. What's going on there?
It's absolutely extraordinary, and it was never. I mean, I think it came out on Monday that he got $75,000 US. Someone like Mandelson was never going to risk their entire reputation for $75,000.
No.
The money will show us what's actually been going on, whether it's the contracts with the big banks or separate payments.
Do you think that others will? Do you think that others, whether he squeals or an investigation opens it, do you think others from high office might fall and suffer as well?
Well, we've already seen Gordon Brown trying to cover his own bag. I think we will find other Labour politicians trying to do the same, to rescue their reputations. And Mandelson himself has nothing to lose. Why wouldn't he? Amazing. Nigel, as a overview of everything, and it is extraordinary, the feeling amongst the listeners this morning. You can also, it's palpable, you can feel it in the studio. We are on resignation watch because it'll take one to go and then it'll be like a house of cards and people are waiting for that. How long do you imagine are embattled? I mean, I say to you both what I've been saying all morning. It's on the front of this rag, The Guardian. You know you're in trouble, to be fair. How long do you think he's got, Nigel?
Hardly any time at all, because Angela Rayner started the ball moving yesterday by insisting that the Spooks Committee was the one that was going to do this. Don't forget, he's got a huge majority, a massive majority, and yet he was forced to climb down from Prime Minister's questions when he said absolutely that it was going to be the Cabinet Secretary that decided what papers were going to be revealed, and within an hour he had to change his mind. I absolutely think, and I never thought this was possible before the May elections, that Starmer could go. I now absolutely think that he's on the ropes, and that the machine is already moving, Jeremy. And Annunziata's got it absolutely right. It's lovely to see you, Annunziata.
Hello, and you.
Lovely to see you.
Look at me.
I've not seen you for quite some time. And I've not seen politics quite like this in my entire career. I think he's absolutely on the ropes. People are on manoeuvres, and I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the day, both McSweeney and him are gone.
Well, Annunziata, just to finish, let's have a cooling thought. Nigel, don't go anywhere, it's brilliant. You do realise, and I think Nigel's right, we had this from Isabel, there's no definitive proof of this, but there will be meetings already that if he does get forced out, OK. And Nigel's nodding his head, Deputy Speaker, you would know there are meetings. I just be very careful as I say this, Annunziata. The interim Prime Minister of the United Kingdom will be David Lammy. And I would like to say, as I said about an hour ago, for any young people or people who have lost their job and aspire to achieving anything, if that man can be the Prime Minister even for 5 minutes, I think we can all achieve anything. That is, I mean, that we can laugh. How much of a sobering thought is that, Annunziata?
Well, fortunately, interims don't generally get to do very much, and there is zero chance the party will vote for him. But I think we've really got to be scared about what comes next, because I don't think Rayner will win. She's been embroiled in corruption herself. The last thing you want to do is replace a corrupt Prime Minister with another one, where Streeting's too close to Mandelson, basically leaves you with Miliband. 3 years of Miliband, we're in real trouble.
It's great to have you both on. And Annunziata, I know you won't mind. I have some bloke called Jacob Rees-Mogg on at 10 to 10 this morning. He said, if she's coming on, I'm coming on. Could you give me something that I don't know about your brother that I can put to him if he's beating me intellectually in an argument?
I've absolutely no idea. He is exactly what he seems, and a very good brother.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you what, tell somebody off air I need something. But listen, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you. We'd love to have you on again, Annunziata. Thank you. And Nigel, or Bill Nighy. Lovely to have you both on. Thank you so much indeed. Talk Breakfast.